How should we start this?
We start with a small introduction.
Sure.
Who we are.
Sure.
Would you like to start off?
I suppose so.
Okay.
Okay. Hello. We are the Star Bois.
Hello.
I'm Stevie.
I'm Luca.
And yes, we're Star Bois, like I said a couple seconds ago.
Yeah.
And, well, we've been on the Star Wars grind since...
3-4 years old.
Yes.
We're 18, just for reference.
Yes, we're now 18. We're 18, and we're still obsessed with Star Wars since then. I don't think I've ever stopped being obsessed with Star Wars. No.
Me neither.
So, yeah. So, today, we're going to start our topical review of The Rise of Skywalker. Would you like to say something about it?
So, I'm going to start with, kind of a out of 10 rating. I'm going to give it an 8. And I know a lot of people are very iffy about this movie, but I have some points that I'd like to bring up later on because I think we should do kind of a non-spoiler review first. Right?
Yes, I agree.
So we'll do that first, but I have some points that I'd like to pick out and look at the details, and we'll see exactly what I think are the embodiment of a Star Wars film. And why I think that it was one of the best across the board. So, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
would we like to start with a non-spoiler, let's call it like a review?
Sure. Sounds excellent. Okay. So, a non-spoiler review of The Rise of Skywalker would be that it ends a saga of the new sequels, which it ends the Skywalker saga in a nice way. A way that isn't mind-boggling. It's not anything crazy, but it's satisfying. So that if you've been a long-time fan of the series, you'll enjoy it. But I must say that you will enjoy it if you're not overly critical of the movie, what like many people are. So it really impedes it if you're just really criticizing every little factor there is in the movie. Which the movie isn't really about that. It's not what it's meant to be. You're not supposed to criticize it. I mean, you're supposed to criticize it. It's a movie.
Yes.
You should criticize a movie. You shouldn't just be unconditional about it. It's not saying that you need to take too seriously, I think it's better to say.
Right.
It's a movie that you're just supposed to love.
I think so. And I think that, I know there's a lot of bickering, I guess we could say, going on in the world of Star Wars. But we can always say that as Star Wars fans, we know that the people who are going to criticize it in terms of it being bad and in terms of it being great are always going to be the most hardcore fans. I don't think that you'll ever see a normal person who, let's just say, going to see it as a standalone. They're not going to be like, this movie was complete garbage. Mm-hmm. This movie was amazing. They're just gonna probably be like this is a good action movie, and maybe at parts of the movie, which even I thought this, it was a bit fast paced, because
J.J. Abrams does.
Yeah, I believe that specifically for this last movie, it should have been that kind of split into two whole, kind of like kind of an Avengers Infinity War and Endgame kind of thing, going together but separate. But obviously it's a Star Wars trilogy, so you had to keep it to 3. So it's understandable. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not something that is that I don't think anybody should be too critical about, because in the end it's a Star Wars movie, and this is what you should enjoy it for, is for being something that you've loved for your whole life if you're like us, or older, or even younger fans who just know the sequels. I've heard a number of children that I know from my friends, little brothers and sisters and little cousins, and they've loved the movie. They like the movie just because of what it is. It's a Star Wars film, and that's what, at the end of the day, is what we want.
Yeah,
right.
My girlfriend, who is not a child, okay, I took her to see the movie, and she loved it. Well, I don't know if she loved it, but she did like it, because she didn't have any other old opinion about the other movie. She just saw that movie and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't.
It's not. I just don't think that. My issue bringing this part up is that people are being very critical of the storyline and story points of the movie, and I think that's fine. Like it's okay. It's okay. It's fair to be critical of that, but also you shouldn't judge all the sequels just completely based on that. It's kind of just I think it's a little unfair to judge the whole thing.
Just like you shouldn't judge the whole sequels by The Last Jedi.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And that is a completely different topic because we could go
we could go
into depth
yeah,
about
we could
that
definitely
one,
talk about that. Okay.
But let's
continue.
Let's continue.
Okay. So, I have a point so I have a couple things that I want to talk about first.
Okay.
So, I think one reason why people don't enjoy the sequels as much is because there's more I guess humor in it, you know?
Right, okay, yeah.
So like people like Star Wars of like, you know, the originals, their humor it was there, but it wasn't as noticeable. It wasn't like as much in your face as there. So it has like a different kind of way of being there. Like
to the point where like they would stop the music and like everything just to make like a joke kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. What's it called? The Force Awakens pretty much starts out with a joke.
Right.
Like when Poe was talking to Kylo.
Right.
That starts one of the first lines is a joke.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's different than what was done before.
Yeah.
And so that might change with people's feelings might be weird. And some people breaking news actually, apparently J.J. Abrams wanted the Rise of Skywalker to be completely different and longer, and apparently there is a cut out there apparently.
Yeah. It's on film.
Yeah, it's on film. They shot it.
We just found out about this. I don't know when you found out, but I just found out maybe 2 days ago.
Yeah.
About the JJ cut is what people are calling it, and there's actually I've seen petitions online already like, release the JJ cut like, it's just something that, from what I've heard is what the more hardcore fans would appreciate. I think.
Yeah, there's supposed to be Force Ghosts.
Yep.
Longer. Okay, so we are officially done with non-spoiler for now on. Everything else will be a spoiler.
Spoilers, so spoiler alert.
Like Kylo's death, that was supposed to be longer, and a bunch of other things too.
Right. Yeah, and I think the most, I'm just gonna say disappointed I've been, personally, is when I heard that there were gonna be Force Ghosts.
Yes.
I don't know for you, but when I heard that I think I heard that it was Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor, and was Liam Neeson?
I think I heard something about Liam Neeson.
And I think those are the three that were supposed to be Force Ghosts, but it got cut down to them just being voices at the end of the movie, speaking to Rey, which I loved. I actually thought that they would bring back the past Jedi, the Jedi Council, somehow in this movie. But I thought that was very cool, but I would have flipped. I mean, I would have flipped if I saw those three as Force Ghosts. Yeah. That's just...
Yeah. Sadly, that wasn't one thing that we saw. Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn as a Force Ghost. We never were able to see that, unfortunately. And this was an opportunity to do it, but it was unfortunately squandered. Yeah. So this does bring up the question, did Disney do too much to the movie? What do you think?
So in terms of like, I remember watching a video, early before even Last Jedi. I think it was right after Force Awakens came out, and it was a video about how Disney ruined lightsabers. And if you notice, they are very, very different. That's true. Obviously, from the OT, the original trilogy, the lightsabers were very like low tech because obviously it was the 70s, 80s. Yeah, it's all they could do. But in my opinion, the prequel lightsabers are the one like I love them.
Yeah, peak.
Like not just the lightsabers themselves, but the battles. I still don't think that any lightsaber battle can be topped. I think top two is Duel of Fates and then Mustafar. Those two
have remained unbeaten. They are top level.
Yeah, and which brings up another point, but we'll probably talk about this more later.
Yeah.
The fact that John Williams, such a legendary composer, but he's done, right? He's done with Star Wars. So any more trilogies that they have planned he's not gonna score them.
Yeah, you have to be seeing
which sucks because I love John Williams. I mean, he created every Star Wars theme that like everybody knows.
He created the best theme probably to maybe of any movie.
Yeah.
Duel of Fates is one of the best songs ever made.
Right.
And will continue to be.
Yeah. And I think that's like one thing, even if Star Wars fans don't, or not even Star Wars fans, I'm saying like normal people who are just wanting to view Star Wars, right? That's one thing that they'll always know is the Star Wars theme, the title crawl, it's just one of the most interesting things. Anyways, back to the whole Disney. I don't think that Disney ruined it because I got this huge vibe from Force Awakens. Obviously, they tried to make it a lot like A New Hope.
Yeah.
Did you get that sense?
Yeah, they tried doing like their own like rehash of A New Hope.
Yeah,
essentially.
Kind of like the nostalgic feel.
Yeah,
and I live for that stuff in Star Wars because, as 18-year-olds, we didn't get to see the original trilogy come out in theaters. We didn't even get to see Episode 1 and Phantom Menace come out in theater. But growing up with Episode 2, Episode 3, and then sequels, I live for watching and seeing things from the past.
Yeah.
Like hearing rumors about Liam Neeson and Hayden and Ewan just like really got me like excited. So for the potential of seeing a JJ cut with them in the movie will be, I think, reminiscent of when they added Christian into Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
They're reminiscent of that. That whole showing Vader, Anakin as the true light and not the older version of him where he still technically would have been the dark side, Darth Vader kind of side of him. So overall, Disney ruining Star Wars, yes and no for me. How about you?
What I think they did is that they Disneyfied Star Wars. They've Disneyfied Star Wars. They made it sort of like a Disney asset. Like they made it so it was more of like a Disney way of Star Wars being. Which is, it's fine. They own the rights to Star Wars, so we really have no right to say that. But I don't think it ruined it.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Well, now let's talk about what we actually liked about the Rise of Skywalker. The specific details that we liked about the Rise of Skywalker.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with the fact that I knew that we all knew that Palpatine was coming back.
Yeah. And
from the beginning, I was very skeptical on the scale that they were bringing back. Like, just straight up, would they just, like, throw him in the movie and he'd just be, like, completely full power and just be, like, already, like, dominating the galaxy still. But the one thing that I really liked is the way that they portrayed him as, like, he is this kind of dying being. But this is like he's still like the most powerful Sith in existence.
Also, if I might add, the actor Ian McDiarmid sells it. Completely sells it.
Big time. I was so excited when I heard that he was returning.
Yeah.
Like they really could have gotten anybody.
Yeah.
Because there's heavy makeup on Emperor Palpatine, especially in Rise of Skywalker, because he's pretty, messed up.
Yeah, he's withered.
I think one of the most legendary lines is right at the beginning when he says, I don't know exactly, but he's like, the dark side gives many people powers that some consider unnatural.
Yes.
And then like the lightning and then Kylo's just like, okay, I'm on my mission. I have to get ready to go to the dark side and defeat this guy because Kylo knows that this guy is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, he's like pretty much the ultimate threat.
So that the whole Emperor Palpatine coming back and the way that they did it, I actually really liked that.
Yeah.
I really liked that. What's something that you liked a lot?
Okay, so I made a bunch of points I've been really thinking about it.
Okay.
So there's just a couple things. So something that they try to fix from The Last Jedi is that Luke actually acts like a Jedi Master.
Right.
Like he has some wisdom.
Yes.
And it's very it was something that I really wanted to see in The Last Jedi.
Very well needed.
I was pretty disappointed to not see it. We have this whole like decades waiting to find Jedi Master Luke.
Yeah.
And we really didn't get that as much as we wanted. Sure, at the end of it, where he does act nobly as a Jedi, we didn't really get the whole Jedi Master Luke, though.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's something I was very happy to get. Chewie finally gets his medal, because, as everybody likes to point out, he didn't get his medal. And,
for one, I didn't exactly remember that. Like, when Maz handed it to him, I was like, wait a minute, and I thought back on it, and I was like, what the? Like, I knew that Chewie didn't get medal, and for the longest time, I was always thinking about like that's kind of messed up, isn't it? Like, he was clearly a part of the Millennium Falcon. They destroyed the Death Star. Anyways,
like they explained that in comics and stuff, but like you didn't see it in the movie. Yeah, it's not the same as that.
I think that's like really doing Chewie justice, which Chewie is a solid character. If we're talking about solid characters in the just the Star Wars universe, I think Chewie is up there with like, you know, Luke.
He's top character, yeah.
Yeah, he's a very solid character. I agree with that.
Okay. And so sadly we got to say goodbye to Leia.
Yeah.
We were all just so sad about what had happened. Nobody saw it coming. It's very unexpected. And we didn't obviously I got really faked out actually in The Last Jedi. I was like, they can't kill her off this way.
Right.
I was gonna be like heartbroken if that's how they did it. It would have been so sad. But no, we got a nice scene where she retires and passes away, and then she passes away with Ben too. Yeah, so that was nice. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. We got the Han Solo seed that we wanted from The Force Awakens, but we knew we couldn't have. It was too early in the trilogy. Exactly. We didn't want Han Solo to die, but his sacrifice was sad, and now we get to see it through Leia's interfering or tampering with, and Ben's memories. We actually got the scene that we really wanted from that.
And that's and for me, that's one thing that kind of puzzles me, because I don't know. I'm pretty sure you've heard of this, but I know that Harrison Ford kind of regretted being in Star Wars. That was right?
I don't think he regretted it. I think he just wanted to have his character die off before. I think maybe even The Empire Strikes Back, he wanted Han Solo to die. Yeah,
so I think it was very interesting how, as somebody who I'm fairly sure to this day, not exactly, I don't want to say not appreciate, but kind of doesn't really want to be there.
He felt like he had his time at it.
It was interesting how he would come back for something like that, and it was just it was 20-second scene maybe. Mm-hmm. It was not very long.
Yeah, so really crazy. Okay, so next point I have here is some of this is just a tiny one. How after Ben became Ben again, his mannerisms were kind of like his dad.
Yes.
Remember that?
I like that a lot. Yeah.
So that was just a nice little tidbit. I like that.
That was one of my favorite parts of the movie, actually. Okay. That shrug is.
Yeah. It was just a nice little, the nostalgia thing, like you're talking about. It was just a nice little bit like that.
And I remember coming out of my first showing of Rise of Skywalker on opening night. I was with a group of my friends from high school, and we stood outside the front of the theater. It was our movie ended at 12. But we all love Star Wars, so we stood out in front of the theater until I think it was 2 or 2:30 in the morning. We were just talking about the movie and the franchise as a whole. And I think we all agreed. We all had different opinions on the movie as a whole, but we all agreed that little scene of him shrugging is really, really it's exactly what Han would do.
Yeah,
exactly. So I thought that was so cool. Yeah.
Okay, and let's see. Okay, so. This is something I actually thought about a while after I watched the movie, is the possibilities of the Emperor being alive, of Palpatine being alive. So if you've survived that, I'm not sure exactly. It was explained in the visual book, but But the possibilities of him being alive, what he could do besides like the Star Destroyers, what his like dark side influence could have done over the 3 decades that he was gone.
Right.
What could that mean for the future of Star Wars, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
And the last thing, that Lando survived. Everybody was like, no, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
He's gonna die. All the other ones died. He's gonna die.
Yeah.
So that was nice that he survived. And he has a daughter?
Janna?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Janna?
That's what it's up to.
So, yeah. I mean, where else could that go? Anakin for me, because it's just the whole fact that he's so built up to be, you know, the chosen one. And I think that if he never became Darth Vader, which another thing I want to talk about, which is the fact that I've been seeing like this meme going around, how it's the scene where Mace is saying that he has to kill Palpatine, and then Anakin says, "No, I need him like to save Padme, right?" And then Mace Windu just says, "Don't worry, Anakin, we'll just force heal her," right? Like, I don't know. That's something else I want to talk about. But in terms of him never becoming Darth Vader, I think that as a Jedi, he just would have undoubtedly been the most powerful Jedi to ever been.
Yeah.
But the whole fact that Rey really needed so little training, the fact that she was 19 years old, how old was Luke when he started?
19. Yeah.
19. So it was about the same. Okay. So then I think I would put her either on par with Luke or a bit under, because Luke is very powerful over in terms of when he started training his Padawan and then starting his Jedi Academy. It was he became, I mean, there's a lot of legends information about it, but sticking to canon, he was still the most powerful Jedi for his era and his time. Yeah. So I wouldn't say that she could touch him, but
yeah, I think there. I saw some information somewhere that we all know how controversial midi-chlorians are. Yeah. But like Luke had like the highest count like of all. I saw that somewhere. I'm not sure if that's even canon still or if it was canon at all. But I saw somewhere that it was true. Yeah. I believe it. I would believe it.
Yeah, I would believe it too. And that also begs the question: if Luke had that high of a midichlorian count, what about Leia? Like,
it's true.
I mean, about that, she did actually end up becoming a Jedi, but as we find out in Rise of Skywalker, you know, she doesn't feel like, because she has a vision, right? She has a vision of Ben because going to the dark side. She says, "I don't want this to be my path. I don't want this to be his path." Unfortunately, that happened anyway. Yeah. But that also begs the question, you know, what was her midichlorian count? Where does she rank on the highest of Jedi? You know?
Yeah. Has she trained? She probably could. You know, so they're twins, so they should have had the same ability to be as high. So,
especially the fact that Luke trained her.
Yeah.
So if Luke is so powerful, and then let's just say that in terms of his powers, like transferring over to hers, wouldn't that make her just as powerful?
Yeah. Right? And Yoda said that, you know, there's another. So that means if Luke failed, she was supposed to take his place and would have done it.
I completely agree with that.
And had it happened, that would have.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that, actually. Yeah. All right.
Okay. You have any more things that you don't like about the movie?
Anything more? I'll get back to you on that. I had to think about that a little bit. What about you?
Okay. So actually, we are going to take a short break right now. So we are going to end it right now. Okay. Be right back. Okay, welcome back.
Hello.
Sorry for the short break.
Interruption. But
and it's okay.
We needed our hydration. My voice is very warm.
A couple of thirsty boys right here.
Yeah. Thirsty Star Boys.
Thirsty Star Wars boys. Okay, so our next topic, as I mentioned before, is what we didn't like about The Rise of Skywalker. So, we discussed about Rey being a Skywalker. And so, what I think another thing happened that has something to do with Skywalkers, it was Ben dying.
Yeah. Unnecessary. I think unnecessary.
Yeah, it was. I did see somewhere that was mentioned that he was always intended to die. I really didn't want him to die though.
No.
I would have been happy if he survived.
Yeah. I would have either I feel like would have justified it better if either Rey died, which I feel like that could really sum up the Rise of Skywalker, because we don't really get the sense of who it is until like right then at the end.
It's right
so
at the end.
it could have been Rey died, and then because Ben Solo is the son of Leia, who is a Skywalker directly, and I think that would make a lot of sense. Or both of them die.
Yeah,
I would have been okay with that too, because that would have been like closure for me.
Yeah,
in a sense.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, that way their story would have definitely ended that way. It would have been because So we don't know, which we are going to talk about the future of Star Wars. We don't know what Rey's going to do. People say that she's not going to train Jedi,
Right.
which is it's alright.
Yeah.
You know, it's her path. We can't really say much about it.
Yeah.
So it would have been a nice ending to their story, I think.
Yeah.
We got a nice introduction to their story in Force Awakens, and it slowly led to their ending in Rise of Skywalker.
And you know what? I think that a lot of people would maybe disagree with, but I would have really liked to see both of them survive and then carry on like their relationship and then having children.
Yeah.
Imagine how powerful
they
those
would have
children
had the most powerful kids
Yeah.
in all of Star Wars.
A Palpatine and essentially a Skywalker having kids together. Wow. Like that would have been kind of crazy.
Also, we have to mention, it would not be incest. It was confirmed by Disney that Palpatine did not give life to Shmi Skywalker, the birth of Anakin.
Right.
That was confirmed. So,
That's a big
not
theory.
incest. Not incest. Definitely not.
That was a big theory that we had though, right?
Yeah.
Before Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, we're worried about that actually.
Yeah.
So, it's not a big deal. And what else? Also, I saw on Twitter, Mark Hamill actually tweeted, he said it wasn't incest, and he said the closest thing to incest would be when he kissed Leia, but he also stated that, because they didn't know they were siblings, doesn't actually count as incest. So, no incest in Star Wars. That's not a thing. It's not
Even though it's pretty funny to think about sometimes.
Yeah, it's a little gross, but
yeah.
didn't actually happen. So, we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so my next point.
Okay.
Hux was wasted. This is just something
Yes.
small.
Oh my
just
gosh.
it was so.
I agree.
It was just so weird. Like I get from his time in Force Awakens through The Last Jedi, how Hux slowly was turning on Kylo, but the way how he did it in The Rise of Skywalker wasn't the way Hux would have handled it.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that Hux, I think I didn't like Hux to begin with, but I think that shows
we were meant to.
I think Hux. We were meant to, and I was about to say it's pretty good writing to write in Hux as a character such as himself, and for a viewer, a fan to not like him, but then when the whole sequence where he says I'm the spy, I think I got up out of my seat and cheered when I saw that. Because I actually found myself really man, that's cool. That's cool.
It's a cool idea.
Hux being the spy is really cool in my eyes, and I think he was underutilized. The way that he died was kind of just It's kind of almost like it was pushed swept aside under the rug kind of thing.
Oh, Hux dead.
Yeah,
no big deal.
And then he was just never mentioned after that. Not to mention that they could have paid him. The Resistance could have paid him a lot.
He could have had a really great impact on being a spy.
Yeah, and he kind of did, because he gave him some valuable information, and he and I'm saying he could have been a little bit more honored, in a sense. Does that make sense? More people would be oh, it was Hux. He wasn't such a bad guy, or whatever. But we get some good Poe and Finn lines in there. Yeah. It's I knew it, and
yeah. I think it would have been interesting to see how he could have been even more evil. He was doing that really malicious intent. He was sabotaging the First Order very heavily. Of course he was a spy and gave information, but what he could have done, he could have really sabotaged Kylo's fighters.
That's true.
Or sabotage the Star Destroyers so that way Kylo would lose.
Yeah.
I think that would have been very interesting, but, you know, I felt like it was just like a kind of funny point. They've been doing that a lot in the newer Star Wars. Like, they kind of, like, do some things just for laugh of it. Like, of course, the start of The Last Jedi. Just throwing the lightsaber.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were going to talk about that anyway, right?
Yeah.
But, we kind of went over that when we were talking about Luke. Being the whole Master Luke, the one that we wanted the whole time. Instead of throwing the lightsaber over your shoulder for a joke, right? Mm-hmm. It's like we were talking about the humor. Yeah. He actually shows himself being a master, a person who respects the lightsaber. It's like that's no way to treat a Jedi's weapon.
Yeah, totally rectified that. Yeah, that was good. Okay, so next point. So there wasn't. Sometimes there should have been more emotional impact on how the characters were handled. So like the two apparent deaths in the movie that didn't actually die, Chewie and C-3PO.
Right.
Because Chewie, we're like, oh no, he's dead.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like they forgot
switches.
Yeah. They're like, oh, it wasn't really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And that's because like it wasn't really a big deal in the overall movie because he didn't die. And 3PO, a whole big deal about him getting his memory wiped. And then like
everybody's just
no big deal. And then he just
shrugged it off.
And then his memories came back. It's almost like nothing happened.
Those are two characters that are just so like embedded in the Star Wars story, and especially C-3PO because I say this to everybody, and everybody I feel like kind of just glosses over this. I mean, everybody knows it, but glosses over the fact that C-3PO and R2-D2, the two most important droids in the galaxy,
and the only characters that have been in every movie.
Yeah, every single movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's why I like their characters so much. Mm-hmm. And I really liked how they kind of wrote C-3PO to be kind of like a comedic character. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know a lot of people just found him like annoying, like throughout like just Star Wars. But I think I really liked like the comedic timing.
He's got
like
some good moments, being funny.
I like it.
Okay, so my next point. Let's see here. Okay, so we got that, and so. I think what some people do, I think what with Star Wars, what they did, is the whole, like, how things are coincidences and, like, how they all just line to be perfect.
Yeah.
The idea is that they rely too much on the Force wants it this way, so we can pretty much just do whatever.
Right.
So that was something that I worry about. So, because, like, all these things just have to perfectly align.
Yeah.
So, like, Rey finding out, and, like, the whole Sith dagger to find out where.
Yeah.
Like, they really just rely on the Force wants it this way, so we can just pretty much roll with that and do whatever we want.
Yeah. I think that's a kind of like a good thing and a bad thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a good thing in terms of they, like, writers of Star Wars could have taken it any way that they wanted it.
Yeah.
They could have, like, did something insane. They could have brought back, like, Darth Revan.
Yeah, that's actually, like, one of my favorite things about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Is that it's limitless. Like, what you can do almost anything with it, and it's fine. You can just, there's so much more. The universe is always, like, building, and so that gives you just so much room to work with and just to learn and enjoy about.
Exactly. 100%. And then also the bad aspect is exactly what you just said. In terms of a movie and a storyline, it just seems way too... AJ had the right idea to be, having her have a little backseat to the main action of the movie. But I think that putting her in the background would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's neither here nor there because that's a very, I think, gray area. Because a lot of people, in the prequels, they hated Jar Jar Binks. Remember that?
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends or just like Star Wars fans that I know were like, man, I hate Rose even more than Jar Jar. I was like, oh, okay. I mean,
that seems a bit extreme.
Yeah.
Like, Jar Jar was meant to cater to kids and be annoying as possible. And Rose was just...
I think, if anything, poorly written.
Yeah, so that was exactly what I was thinking.
And if I was being harsh, I would say the actress could have done a little bit more in terms of putting her like emotion into it. Like, you're in a Star Wars movie and you're one of the main characters. I think you should be a little bit more I don't know what the word is. Like, you know what I'm talking
more,
about?
I guess.
Yeah,
like just
a
more.
little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, like the character could have been more fleshed out, and of course there are some iffy things about the writing, especially just like the ending. So like how it was when she saved like Finn from attacking the walkers.
Right.
Like that scene could have probably been better. That could have been better, like the way it been. Like I guess I get the idea was fine, but it just probably could have been better if it was more fleshed out and just done better overall.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so we talked about Rose. So one of the final things we want to talk on our first episode of the podcast is what the future of Star Wars will hold. So what do you think?
So, I will first say what I want the future of Star Wars to be.
What we want.
What I want is much more pre-order 66. I think that, like, we know, like, we get the whole, not the Star Wars, or the Skywalker storyline is done.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, so we know what happens, everything after Order 66, and that's a great story. I love that story.
Yeah.
But I want to see, I'm saying, Origins of the Jedi, Old Republic. I want to see even as far back as, like, when the Sith are a race of people.
Yeah.
Like, I think that'd be so cool. And then I want to see things like Darth Bane establishing the role of two. I want to see the full power of Darth Revan.
Yes.
I just want to see
also
these
one
things.
thing I forgot to mention is when we were talking about the likes of the Rise of Skywalker, a bunch of Sith became canon because in the visual dictionary, so the legions, the Sith legions were actually named after old Sith. So like Revan, Darth Vader, and a bunch of others. I'm not actually sure because I haven't actually seen the visual book, but it did make all those Sith canon. So now that's the Skywalker story is over. There is so much more we can do with that. Now that all these Sith are canon, the Sith are one of the most interesting thing about Star Wars.
Yeah,
so what we could do is so much. Like they are super powerful. The legends, Sith are insane.
It's an endless possibility, I think.
Yeah.
As we said before.
Yeah.
So that in terms of what I want from future Star Wars is pre-order 66. I mean way back. I mean way back.
Yeah, like origins of everything.
I think it'd be very cool to see Yoda growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be very cool. I think they could do something with a movie dedicated to Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it'd be kind of tough because he is 900, plus years old. But they could do kind of a movie where they skip around and they say, this is where Yoda, became aware that he's force sensitive. And him evolving into the Jedi Master that we know today. Because I love Yoda. And I know that George Lucas meant for Yoda to be kind of like this mysterious character. Yeah. But now we have the Mandalorian. And we see Baby Yoda, as everybody calls him, or the child. And now it's kind of opening a new door to Yoda species. And as stated in The Mandalorian, his new mission, should we call it, is to go and find the kid's world, his system. Yeah. And I think that would be very cool to explore that whole mysterious side of Yoda's species. And that's something else I'd really extremely like to see. I do like the fact that Skywalker Saga is done. I think it was a really good ending to it. I think this movie overall, as we've been talking about, is an extremely good way to end it. And I want them to just go away from that, though. Okay. I just want them to go away from that.
So, do we think you're going to get a bunch of more solo movies? Maybe another trilogy? What do you think?
I think if we're talking Um, Old Republic, I think we'll get a trilogy. But in terms of like a Yoda movie, we could get a Yoda solo movie, or maybe we could get actually also in terms of if we just get a Sith movie, maybe a movie just about like the Siths and how they came to be, and Darth Bane established in role too. Like I said, I think that could be also a solo movie, but that's also potential for a trilogy.
Yeah.
But I think personally, down the line, it's gonna be a trilogy. But I don't think they're gonna episode it like they have the Skywalker. They won't do that.
Interesting. Yeah, I think. Well, especially so, the Mandalorian says precedent. How there's a lot we can do with shows now.
Yeah.
So obviously, Mandalorian had a great series. It's over now, if by some random chance, or you don't have Disney Plus yet. It is extremely worth it to get Disney Plus because you get to see Clone Wars, Rebels, and the Mandalorian, and all the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
So it is very worth it. So, and yes. So the president stated by Mandalorian is that we could have Star Wars, a live action Star Wars on a show, and it could be fantastic and do so much with it. You could expand the Star Wars universe easily.
And you hear the rumors about season 2.
Oh, yes. I forgot to mention that, is it February 17th that Clone Wars Season 7 is coming out?
Yes. I'm very excited for that.
Yes,
because I've been watching Clone Wars on Disney Plus. Oh my gosh, that's a good show.
Yeah, it's good.
No, I was saying season 2 about Mandalorian.
Oh yes.
There's a rumor. Actually, I'm not sure if it was a rumor or if it was confirmed, but there's gonna be Skywalker characters showing up in season
2. Yes,
very cool.
Yeah,
I think that's perfect.
Yeah,
It's what these shows deserve. Mandalorian, and then in 2021 we'll get Kenobi. I just think it's what like these shows deserve, because to make them even better and take them to even the next level. As I've told Stevie in the past, I've loved Star Wars my whole life, but there's a time where it kind of fell off for me, and I'm gonna say wholeheartedly that Mandalorian brought back my interest in Star Wars. And this is why I think that we are sitting here doing this today, is because we just appreciate the new direction that they're taking it in. And I think it's just so cool, so good.
Yeah.
I don't have any other words for that. It's just
I really felt like my love of Star Wars has just like never faded. I've always been into Star Wars movies. I've been playing the games, which is something that we will have a future episode talking about Star Wars games from the best, what do we like, and what's going on right now. Actually, I'm letting Luca a copy of my Fallen Order, so we're going to definitely talk about that.
Oh yes, I'll finish it before. Next week.
Definitely. So yes, we will have another episode next week. And so, actually, I think that is a good place for us to finish.
Okay. I think this is a pretty successful first podcast, if I say so.
Obviously, we're not going to be perfect. This is our first episode of the podcast. I think it was pretty good. We enjoyed it, definitely. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
I loved it. I had a great time today.
Yeah. And we're going to do a lot more. So, if you are interested in seeing future episodes of our podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, SoundCloud, and we will be working on getting more platforms to put our podcast on.
And I think we should be starting an email. And just in case, if obviously this is just our start, but if anybody sees this and they would like to email us ideas on what they would like to hear or what they would like to see in a video.